New polling from NBC News has Donald Trump ahead of President Biden by 2 points, 46 to 44%.
Excuse me 1 second. I've got a yawn. Hold on 1 second.
You're yawning? I know, because this is a pattern.
This is the end of the world, according to Democrats. Let's just say it. According to David Axelrod, who, by the way, said Biden was toast several times in 2020, this is the end of the world. According to Democrats in Washington, they need to take a deep breath.
Notable in the poll is Biden's drop in support from young voters after winning that group by more than 20 points in 2020. The latest poll shows voters actually prefer Trump to Biden now, 46 to 42%.
Yeah, and anybody who believes that will be the numbers on Election Day in 2024, I mean, seriously, not even close.
This comes as 70% of 18 to 29-year-olds say they disapprove of Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas war. Joining the conversation now, we have former U.S. Senator now in NBC News and MSNBC political analyst Claire McCaskill, president of the National Action Network and host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, Reverend Al Sharpton, and senior national political correspondent for The Washington Post, Ashley Parker. Jonathan Lemire, Donnie Deutsch, and Katty Kay are all still with us as well.
You know, Claire McCaskill, the discussion I'm hearing right now reminds me of the discussion I had with the senior Trump advisor in, what was it, well, actually, it was in 2020. In 2020. And this senior advisor was telling me and showed me all the numbers. Look, we've got the numbers. Donald Trump's going to get 22% of black voters. He's going to get 40% of Hispanic voters. Nevada is in the books. We've won it already. New Mexico, the numbers that we're driving right now, we're going to win New Mexico. I mean, so excuse me while I yawn, while Democrats left and right, who let's just say it, Democrats who have kicked Joe Biden around for decades, who kicked him around when he was vice president of the United States, those same Democrats are now coming. Oh, and by the way, Democrats who said he was toast in 2020 after Iowa and New Hampshire, now they're saying he's toast again. Claire, why should I not be surprised that once again Joe Biden's being underestimated?
Well, it's the story of his career. It's what he has encountered pretty much every step of the way. And listen, there's one thing these polls are good for, and that is making sure that nobody in the Biden campaign takes any segment of our vote for granted.
Amen.
There is absolutely a need to do more and do better and cover the ground more thoroughly in black and brown voters' houses all over this country. They know what's at stake. And even the young voters, they know what's at stake. They know about Dobbs. They know about our military-style weapons that are slaughtering children sitting in classrooms. They know that they're banning books and trying to look down their nose at Americans who are gay and married in this country. And they're not going to stand for that. They know that the Republican Party thinks the climate change is a hoax. So it's just a matter of making sure the campaign prioritizes the communication of those communities. And I think they've got that. And I think what's hard about it, though, Joe, I think we have to admit, we see Donald Trump as so completely unacceptable, a mentally deranged, narcissistic, dangerous, horrible man that only knows selfishness. The idea that anybody would be voting for him freaks all of us out. So the fact that there are this many that are saying it out loud to somebody, even though it is anonymously, is enough to just make your stomach hurt.
Well, you know, the thing is, reality is, people aren't focused on this campaign, on what Donald Trump is saying, on what Donald Trump is doing the way we are. The overwhelming majority of people. I know, and I know, Claire, let me go back to you for a second here. I'm sure because you ran as a senator, you had a lot more money, and so you could spread that money out. I would tell you that I would have people running around my campaign every 2 years. We're going to lose. We've got to start spending the money. We've got to go. It's August. It's like it's September. They're more interested in high school football. You know, I just always say, I said, people don't really focus in a really intense way until they're about 2 or 3 weeks away from voting. Now, that is not to say that the Biden campaign doesn't need to start right now, like you said, hammering in these areas.
On contrasts.
But these polls, you've run. You've been on the ballot several times. I've been on the ballot 4 times. I just didn't look at polls a year out. They just didn't matter. I just worked. And I know you did the same thing.
Yeah, I would say one thing that everyone should do that is gnashing their teeth and getting a headache over these polls. One thing that the Biden campaign is going to need in every state in the union is a lot of volunteers. I think people underestimate the power of volunteers in a ground game. They hear ground game, they don't even know what that means. What that means is a skeleton staff that deploys hundreds and hundreds of volunteers to go to specific doors and make sure those voters are aware and informed and are going to vote. And then on election day, a huge plan to pull those voters. You make sure that you call them, make sure that you send people to knock on their doors. So if you care, call today and volunteer. Go online and volunteer. Call your state Democratic Party and volunteer. There's lots of ways that you can get busy right now helping these campaigns identify the voters that may need to be some extra love and care when the election gets closer to make sure they're paying attention.